Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, and action.
Okay, so our author was David Almond.
And he's a nutty man.
So the book I read by him is called Secret Heart, and the plot is that a circus comes to the town of Helmeth, and the shy Joe Maloney is drawn to it and its trapezist Karina Finch. A tiger spirit then comes from the circus, and it comes for Joe and Karina and leads them into the forest. The tiger spirit is set free to roam the wild by Joe and Karina, and their lives are changed forever.
So my book was Raven Summer, and the plot is, one day Liam and his friend decide to follow a raven, which leads them to a baby girl in an abandoned building. By finding the baby girl, Liam connects with two orphan teens, Crystal and Oliver. The two teens teach Liam about all that he didn't know about the extremes humans are capable of.
And my book was called Clay, and it was sort of a horror book, I guess. But anyways, the plot was that Davy and his friend Gordy are introduced to the mysterious Stefan, who, Davy realizes later, has a special power to bring clay figures to life. Davy helps Stefan to make a man-sized figure and bring it to life, but Davy backs out once he finds that Stefan plans to use clay, the clay man, I know, very original name. He plans to use him for evil. Davy tries to kill Clay peacefully, so that he would not cause more harm. But Stefan comes and tells Davy to stop. But then he kills Clay anyways and runs away, and he's never found.
So one of the common themes in David Almond's books is supernatural existence in an ordinary world. And this is especially shown in my book because the main character, Joe Maloney, has very powerful dreams and can see and hear things that other people can't. And then there's also the whole aspect of this tiger spirit coming, which is very supernatural.
And so another characteristic that we noticed was deeply present throughout the whole of each of David Almond's books, is that they have complex plots containing many or just a few secrets. For example, the plots of all our books were extremely difficult to explain, as many parts to each of the story added up to the end point in the stories. Also, many of David Almond's books have secrets, like messages that need to be understood unless you don't want to understand the whole of the book. At the end of most of his books, you end up being extremely confused and without any sense of conclusion.
And the books all had common focus on human nature and being human. This was contrasted by the supernatural element, which was in all of our books. David Almond uses the supernatural to emphasize the human nature of the characters, and it emphasizes all the things that humans can do and the things that aren't human that we can't understand. Oh, sorry. So, David Almond was born in Newcastle, which is like the north of England, I think. He grew up in a Catholic family. He played football, which is like soccer here because Europe is weird. He was an altar boy, and he loved the library, and since he was really young, he always loved books and knew that he wanted to be a writer. He went to grammar school, which surprised most of his teachers, and did a degree in English and American literature. Then he worked in a primary school in Gateshead, and when that sort of fell out, he taught kids with learning disabilities. His first book, Skellig, was published in 1998, and then came all his other books, Kids Wilderness, Heaven Eyes, Secret Heart, The Fire Eaters, Clay, and Raven Summer.
And one commentary on David Almond talked about a reader's experience and the author's main book, Skellig. The commentator spoke about how he had come across David Almond's books as well as the author himself, and also describes for the reader how he personally felt about Skellig. He enthusiastically describes how he had been told about how others had felt about David Almond's books, and many similar characteristics to how we'd felt as a group about his books were mentioned. The commentator ends his rather excited speech by encouraging others to explore Almond's books.
So then I did the interview analysis, and and the interview was in the back of my book, Secret Heart. And first, he was asked about the mysteriousness of childhood memories, and he talked about how he thinks a writer's job is to show that the ordinary can be extraordinary, and I think this is also why he uses supernatural stuff in so many of his books. And then he also said that he uses a childhood memory of his own as a base idea for his stories, and then he adds more and more layers and reshapes it into a sort of fiction. And then this goes with the story of my book about the fantasy of running away to a circus, and he said that he thinks kids need to be free and to experience like sort of the darkness in the world and not just be protected from it, and that he also said a book is like a kid. It can like be neat and calm and stuff, but inside it's all like wild. And then he was asked about bad influences and that sort of thing, and he said that people, especially kids, can be influenced very easily by all sorts of things, but anyone can change for the better. The next question was on Joe Maloney, the main character in Secret Heart, and why he made Joe have these stuttering problems. And he said he made him stutter to show that we have things inside of us that are hard to explain and you can't see from the outside, but then the person with them inside them can't exactly tell you what it is, so that's why Joe stutters. And when asked about his preferred writing style, he said he enjoys writing fiction the most, but he also likes how books and stories can really easily be turned into drama or dance or that sort of thing. And lastly, he was asked about the reality versus fantasy in books, but also the real world, and he said that when you're reading a book, you should be able to like feel the world of the story with all your senses. So you should be able to like see the world of the story, hear it, smell it, taste it, touch it. And that we all have our own version of the reality based on like our memories and our experiences. And that was it.